Well, I'm glad to bring him in. He's done a good job of that basketball program. And let me explain to our listeners. You can't play when you got guys hurt. And when Herb gets hurt in the first half of that game, they win the game going away if he's well enough to play. So I don't want to hear it. I mean, football and basketball both. I've gone through it. If you don't have guys ready to play, Alex been down, Beetle's been hurt, and he's done a very, very good job of that basketball program. I'm glad to have him on. Good morning.
Morning, Wim. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, tell us about where you are with your team as far as injuries, and then what do you feel like that you need to do to get a little bit better?
Yeah, Beetle and Alex have been practicing. They didn't practice for the whole week going into that last game, so that was a little bit, and they were kind of both game day decisions. Decided they could go. They've been practicing, so they're both going to play.
Good.
I think Beetle's a lot closer to 100% than Alex is, but which will help. We need some defensive guards to keep the ball in front of us, and Beetle's pretty good with that. I don't know with Herb. Herb has not practiced anything live. Did some skill work yesterday. Our trainer said he's going to work him out again this morning and see, kind of like what he did with Beetle and Alex last week, and see where he's at. I'm a little less optimistic that Herb would play, but, I mean, we'll see. It would be nice, though, if Quinerly's got his appeal, the telephone conference call. If he could get cleared, we'd at least have, eight healthy bodies
sure.
to put out there, and he's healthy and he's playing really well in practice. So that would probably be the best news we could get today, is if Quinerly got cleared by the NCAA this afternoon.
That'd be great, Barry.
How does that work, Coach? I guess does he get to actually speak to the committee, present his case? How will that work today?
Yeah, so I guess they denied the initial waiver, but then there's two ways you can do the appeal. I guess one's a written one and one's like a teleconference call. So we decided to go teleconference call route, just so that he could actually speak and give his story and his family's story and what they've been through, with everything that's gone on with the FBI investigation, of which they had nothing. They didn't do anything to bring anything on themselves, but they've got caught in the middle of it. So he's gonna speak to the appeals committee. I think we'll have our attorneys and compliance, and I think Greg Burns is going to be involved. And then they hang up. They have another teleconference call, I guess, with everybody on the committee and make a decision pretty much right after the call. So we're hoping to know. We're hoping we get a yes by this afternoon and he can play tonight.
Yeah, that would be great. Tell us about Kyra Lewis. I think what you did with him the other night when you grabbed him in the locker room and said, hey, those 2 free throws did not cost us the game, but you got a kid there that, hey, has a lot on his shoulders. He steps up. Hey, he just doesn't make them, but played a great game otherwise. How's he been doing getting ready for this game tonight?
You know what? I think he bounced back pretty well. He was pretty distraught right after the game. I mean, you think about it, he's an 18-year-old kid that should be playing his freshman year this year. Some people forget he came out of high school a year early. So for him to, step up, and, those 2 free throws obviously contributed to the loss, but there was a million other things that did as well. Like we had a bunch of missed layups. We had other guys miss free throws throughout the course of missed box outs, blow-bys. Like we just, when you get to the video and you lose by 1, all that stuff matters. They listen a little bit more. Had you not missed this box out, had you gone and gotten this rebound, if you wouldn't got blown by, if you go, every little thing is magnified when you lose by 1. So I think, when you go through video the next day, it's a little bit easier to show there's a lot of stuff that cost us this game. Now, hopefully, Kyra, I think he's been great mentally. I think he's been in. Sometimes you need a little extra motivation. So hopefully this motivated him. I think he's been a lot better on defense over the last week. He's stayed in the gym a lot, got shots up, but he's a pretty resilient kid. He's a pretty confident kid. I think my guess is we don't see that happen again, and hopefully he gets a chance to step up the line and seal some more wins throughout the course of the year here.
Sure, Nat.
I don't know what you worked on or what you can tell our listeners what you felt like that you really need to harp on after the game. I know this for me, it's always difficult to defend the dribbler. If you can't defend the dribbler, you're hurting a little bit. But when you got in there to try to help your team get better for this game, what did you harp on?
Yeah, that was probably number one. I mean, I don't know how many blow-bys we gave up there. Every time it seemed like we had to get a stop. We just couldn't get a stop, couldn't stay in front of our guy. When we played those two freshmen, and I think they're both going to be good for our program, but they played a combined 50 minutes between Forbes and Shaq, and that was their first college game. They just weren't good enough, to be honest with you. I mean, they couldn't stay in front of their matchup, and we didn't do a good job staying in front of the ball. They weren't the only ones. We had other guys give up blow-bys, but we just, our guards have to get better. We got to get better protecting the rim. When we do get beat, our help wasn't there. And Penn's a good team with their spacing, and but I mean, they had freshmen score 24 on us. Like we were bad defensively, so we got to get a lot better on defense. On offense, we missed a bunch of layups that. If you're a Division I basketball player at a high major level, you have to make those. That's just bottom line. So we did a lot of finishing drills. We tried to clean up the turnovers. I thought we turned the ball over way too much in the first half, and we maybe could have buried them. I thought our defense actually wasn't bad in the first half. It was actually pretty solid. We just turned the ball over too much and missed too many layups, and we could have buried them in the first half if we'd have taken care of it on the offense. And then we came out of the half, and our defense was just atrocious. And part of that attributed, like when Herb was in the game, we were 0.8 points per possession on defense. I think the rest of the game we were up closer to 1.2, which is awful. So, if Herb was able to play the entire game, I think our defense would have looked a whole lot better in the second half than what it did. And, but if he can't play tonight, which we'll know here in the next few hours, then somebody else going to have to pick it up on defense. We're going to have some other guys have to really guard, do a better job for us defensively.
Yeah, you got.
Well, before Barry says anything, our listeners need to understand that all I've heard out of the last two coaches is threes and fast breaks, or going faster. And we've got a program that's going to take it down the floor and get as many layups as they can, and they're going to shoot a lot of threes. So for these fans who haven't seen Alabama play in that first game, need to come out tonight or start coming out to all of them. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have Coach on for a minute, because they do whatever all the fans want them to do, and they're going to do a good job with it. Barry?
Coach, have you found that if Kyra makes those two free throws and you win the game, the problems that you had were still there, but sometimes players don't listen because you won. They didn't go in. So I think usually as a coach, you can get those guys' attention a little bit better in practice. Hey, see, these things that we've been telling you, they're going to come true. Have you found that out here last week getting ready for this game tonight?
Yeah, you're 100% dead on. If they, and I made that statement earlier. If he makes the two free throws, or if the referees don't call the goaltending on Petty's tip in, there's a couple different things late. If they'd have gone our way, we probably win the game. Well, you win the game, all of a sudden all these mistakes that got real magnified in a 1-point loss get buried, and they don't think they're that big of a deal. Like, we give up all these blow-bys and still win the game. Well, now we can give up blow-bys. Well, when you lose the game, now you got to make changes. So, I think we got their attention. Stuff happens for a reason. If this one game isn't going to decide whether we make or don't make the NCAA tournament at the end of the year. If we make changes and learn from that one loss, it'll end up being better for us.
Sure.
If we'd have won it and never made the changes, the loss when you played bad or the win when you played bad would have been a bad thing for you. So as long as our guys learn from it, we're okay with it, and we'll be better, and we'll see how much better we are tonight. And even if Herb can't play and Alex can't move that well still with his hip, and we still got enough guys out there that we need to be playing a lot better, especially on the defensive end. So based on our practice this week, I think we will be a lot better, but you never know until the game comes.
Sure.
Coach, has the atmosphere here, both on and off the floor, and the difference in the people and the weather and all those kinds of things, been a surprise, or what you thought? Or I know you're not going to say disappointment, I know, but has it been family-wise and all? Has it been fun? Or explain that to our listeners.
Yeah, you know what? My family really enjoys it. We like it. I had some, my parents came down from Wisconsin for the my first game last week. Then I turned on Packer game yesterday. They got a snowstorm up there in Wisconsin, so it's a little bit of, Buffalo's all bundled up for the winter already. So it is nice to be able to enjoy the outside for a lot longer down here. The fans at the game, I was pleasantly surprised by the student section. I think our SID told me it was the third largest non-conference student attendance in the last 10 years, maybe, which,
good.
I don't really know. I guess they're just excited to see what the new product looks like. Now, winning and losing, if we'd have won the game, that probably would help the attendance and all that. Maybe losing the game helps us get our players' attention. Winning definitely helps people come back. So hopefully they can come back and we can give them a product that they like to see and keep coming back. Because I definitely think that student section, the crowd in general, helped us make the comeback. And there's positives and negatives with every game. I thought one of the positives we had on the first game was that we didn't fold. We got down 9 late in the game, and our guys didn't fold. They made a bunch of tough plays and hit some big shots and got some stops when needed to. I thought the crowd helped with that. So hopefully we can get the students back in. We can continue to get the student section pretty packed like it was that first night. But I was pleasantly surprised with the way the student section came out for game 1.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking time on game day. Good luck with the Quinerly situation. I guess either one way or another, it'll be over today, right? Either he's going to play or it's over. And that way you guys can go on now and plan with him or without him as far as the season goes. So good luck with that today, and hope you guys play great and get the W tonight. Thanks for taking time to be on with us.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Wimp. Thanks, Barry. Have a good day.
Thank you. There's Coach Nate Oats.